Welcome back everyone, and today we're going to look at the menu system that is on the new Nikon Zf. Please note that this is just the menus. There's nothing else into here. I mean, I'm going to talk about the various options as we go through, but it's just the menus. So it's not a review on it or anything else. It's just menus, okay? I just want to make that clear in case you're here for a review. That's not what you're going to get. Although you are going to get to see how I've set this up and also some of the features that are new in it as well. Let's crack on. So we're recording this here now. So if we go into the menu system, you can see here, we've got photo menu, storage folder as is. You can select from a list, you can create, etc. What I have found is that the storage folder is the same for both photo and video. You can't set different ones, which is a bit annoying. I wish it would do. File naming, I always rename mine. So this is ZF0 because I've got ZFC, ZF8, D8, etc, etc. And we know what camera straight away just by the files. And it's really easy when we're shooting and we've got several different cameras. So that's why we do that. Primary slot, SD. I'm going to use that because it's the better card, in my opinion. Secondary, same as before. If you've got a secondary card slot, I always have it to backup. Up to you. Image area, I'm going to have it on FX. It's an FX. I do have a DX crop alert just to remind me. It's not needed, but yeah. Tone mode, SDR or HLG. I'm keeping it in SDR at the moment. I'm not playing with the HLG, the high definition stuff at the moment. It's just not in my workflow. Doesn't mean I won't look at it, but that's where we're at the moment. Image quality, raw and fine. The top of the range. What's the point? I want the best this can give. Image size settings, obviously large. Enable DX image sizes. Well, I'm not really fussed on by that. It will go to DX if that's the case. I don't want it any other time. Raw recording, lossless. Yeah, might as well get the best out of it. ISO sensitivity. So got it into there. I use and shoot in manual, so I don't really care for this so much in all fairness. And I don't use the auto per se. But if you do, you can go in and set these. Nothing new there. White balance, again, nothing new there in those settings. You've got all the various ones into there and the presets. Picture control, I tend to leave it on auto for photos because it's raw anyway. I don't care into these unless I'm doing the monochrome stuff, different kettle of fish. Manage picture control, that's just where we can go in and add our own and do bits and pieces. I'm not shooting in HLG, so it doesn't matter. Color space, I always set to Adobe RGB because I have everything color calibrated through on my system. If you're just doing it for the screen and everything else, stick it to RGB. I use Adobe RGB because I print with these, so I want it the best quality possible, but I then have to convert it to sRGB for screen anyway. Active delighting, I've got this on normal for now. I vary it between off and normal. Simple as that, really. Long exposure noise reduction, yes, I always have that on. Takes twice the time to take a picture when it's on long exposure, but I think it's worth it. High ISO noise reduction, norm, I leave as is, I'm happy with that. Vignette control, set to normal. Diffraction compensation, yeah, I haven't tested this on or off to know how good this is. I've always done it in Lightroom before, so it'd be interesting to see how this handles everything really into that. So yeah, we'll do another little test onto that. I'm just leaving it on for now because I might as well let the camera handle it. They put a lot of effort into the firmware onto this and what it can do. Make the most of it. Auto distortion control, yeah, it knows what lens is on and it can alter them correct. Saves me doing it in software afterwards, and if I'm just using a JPEG as well for a quick dirty shot, great, lovely. Skin softening, I haven't played with these, but I'm going to. So I'll do a little video on these at another time. Same as the portrait impression balance. So it sorts of tone out across the skin, I believe. Again, haven't tried it, don't know. Gonna have a little play with that. Photo flicker reduction on, I do leave that on. I had it on the last one. Yeah, It's one of those things. It's a rarity, but if it's there to help, then let it be. Metering, obviously I've got this set to center weighted because that's how I like. Might like matrix or spot metering, but remember this is just for photos, so I normally want it around what I'm focusing on. Flash control, well, we're not using flash, but you've obviously got the usual flash stuff in there. Release mode, you've got different ones into there. What we have got down here is the C30, which is 30 frames, which is a movie. Go figure. And self-timer as well. I've got it on single frame for the moment, but I've set up the options to get to that really quickly. Focus mode, I have it in continuous because I use back button focusing. You can have it in whatever. I just find that works for me. And for some reason that went off again. Area focus mode, I have it on single dot because I like that, I'm used to it. But you know, if I'm shooting wildlife or something else, I might put it into 3D tracking or auto area focus. If I'm out and about, that's just what I'm used to as a manual shooter. Detection, I've got it on auto, but you can select if you are just doing pet photography, stick it into animal mode. If you're doing cars on track day, stick it into that, or airplanes. Let the software in this detect and help you out. Manual focus, subject area detection. I've got it off at the moment, but you can put it on any of these if you want. I'm just not interested in that particularly. Easy for me to say. Vibration reduction is off. Okay, that's as is. Yeah, you can have it on sport or normal. I will have to see how we go with that as to what I do. Link VR to focus point. Now I think this is quite important because this is to do with the IBIS. Basically where the focus point is, it will keep that steady and everything else around it can move and be out a little bit, but the center bit is going to be face, whatever it is going to be the bit that's rock solid. So actually I think that's a really key thing to have on. Could be wrong, but if you're going to use it, you know, make the most of it. Auto bracketing, well, I don't tend to do bracketing, but that's where you go to do that if you want. Multiple exposure, again, I don't do that. I tend to do stuff in Photoshop afterwards, but you might want to play in camera and do multiple exposures. HDR overlay, again, I'm not playing with HDR stuff at the moment, but you can add all that on and sort all that out and do it on individual photo. So when it says this, single photo or series, and this crops up a few times, single photo is it's just going to do it for the next photo. Series is going to do it on and on and on and on until you turn it off. So you might just want to do it for one single photo, for instance. Interval timer shooting, so time-lapse effectively. You can choose what you want onto there. Loads of options. Really simple, but nicely laid out. Time-lapse video, so that's a bit like interval timer shooting, but basically what it's going to do is put it into a video file at the end. So it's just ready to use, nice, easy, job done. So yeah, that's really good. Focus shift shooting, this is something I use a lot in macro photography. Nothing that we haven't had before into there, and that just allows you to focus from a point to a set point over a number of frames. Pixel shift shooting, now this is new and I'm going to do a video onto this. This is where it will shift the sensor effectively and shift the pixels across and take up to 16, 32, up to 32 different photos that you can then merge in NX software afterwards. I think that's up to 96 megapixel or something it gives you into that. So that's quite nice. The delay is the delay time before it starts. So 2 seconds just to let the camera settle, and then it's going to start taking a shot. It's great for static subjects. If you've got movement, you're going to see movement somewhere in there. I don't know how it handles that. We'll look at that another time. Interval and to next shot, I'm just going to let it crack on and just do it, but you can do it in seconds. And that's the photo menu. Okay, the video recording menu. So again, we've got the storage folder, file naming system in there, destination, same SD card, so it's easy to take out. Video type. So we've got 8-bit and we've got 8-bit MP4. We've got two different ones, 264 and 265. I always shoot .mov. I'm on Mac. I like it. I like the quality. But now we've got 10-bit and we've got N-Log as well. So if we want to shoot N-Log, that's what we're going to choose. And that's brilliant, and that's in camera, that's not just external, which is fantastic. Then we've got frame size, frame rate, and we've got the 4K 60, 50, 30. Now I believe the 30 is taken at full frame from a 6K sample. The 50 and 60 is effectively a DX crop into there. And I believe the HD is taken from a full frame as well, but we'll cover that later into a different video into those. So you've got all your little frame rates. Let me just go down and show you what you've got. That's it. Nice, simple. They've got rid of the option that we used to have where it was recording with no sound or with sound, the two options, which always confused me. They've just amalgamated it into one. Image area, FX as default, and I've done DX crop alert just to remind me if I've got DX lenses on to get my brain into gear with that. ISO sensitivity, now this is something that I've got on at this particular camera at the moment, and I have selected the auto for this because actually that gives me consistency. So I shoot in manual mode, I set my aperture, I set my shutter speed, and then it's altering the ISO to give me a balance. Sometimes I turn that off. If I'm recording in the studio, I will have it off so that I'm just how I want it crafted. But if I'm outside or doing interviews, then I'm going to do something slightly different with that. White balance, again, this is on auto at the moment, but I would set it generally each time so I don't get it flaking in and out. Picture control, okay, so we've got the same as photo there, but actually most of the time I do flat, in all fairness, because I like to do the color grading afterwards. If I'm in N-Log, I'm going to have more availability for that, but generally flat gives me a nice even keel to do what I want to do. Manage picture controls where we can edit and add and stuff, different ones into there. Active delighting, I've got to normal, just the standard. High ISO, noise reduction, normal. Vignette control, diffraction, again, don't know. Auto distortion control. The diffraction, by the way, on the video, I might not notice because it's very rare that I shoot at really high or low F numbers, so like F22 or something like that. So I might not notice it so much. Skin softening, not tried it, going to. Same as the portrait. Flicker reduction auto. Now, in focus, I do, metering, I do set it to matrix because I want the whole frame. Focus mode, I want it full-time autofocus, simple as that really. I want the camera looking and it's going to go auto area so it sorts out what it wants to do. And detection of subjects, really, I only want people. I'm not interested in anything else. Obviously if I'm going to go and film at a car day or something, then I'm going to change that. Yeah, manual focus subject area detection, again same as photography. I'm going to keep it off onto that if I'm doing manual. Vibration reduction on at the moment. Electronic VR on because I'm generally using this handheld at the moment. When it goes onto a tripod, that will go off. Microphone sensitivity set to auto, but that will change depending what mic I've got on. Attenuator, I'm just leaving it as off at the moment. Frequency set to voice because that's generally what I capture. Wind noise is set to off at the moment, but it could be on depending where I'm filming. Mic jack power plug, I've got that set to off because this will actually provide power out of the mic now for the certain ones that need it. I don't need it with the current stuff that I'm using. We do have a few mics that do, but that's as is. Headphone volume, time code. Yay, we finally got time code in there to go with the N-Log, which is great, and we can record that and set it all up and drop it into there as well, which is superb. And then we can do an external recorder if we want to on HDMI. Okay, custom settings menu, focus. Let's go in down here. So I got the selection just set to release because I don't like the trigger button to do my focusing for me. I like to do it with the back button, preferences. Priority is on focus when I'm doing single point. That's fine, happy with that. Focus tracking with lock on. That's just how quick it's going to respond. Oops, let's go back. There we go. Focus points used. I just use all points at the moment. Might change that, might not. Store points by orientation. Yes, I do. I quite often if I'm shooting portraits, for instance, I will switch between portrait and landscape, and that gives me that ability to do that. AF activation, I'm only using the back button, so I'm not using it via shutter. Focus points persistent auto, that's fine. Limit autofocus area mode selection, I've just got everything selected. I never know what I'm going to need. Focus point wraparound, yes, so I can go around the screen each time, I like that. Focus point display, manual focus mode on, Aphis's focus display, 3D tracking, and it shows you what colour it's going to be into that as well. Preferences, up to you. Built-in AF assist illuminator, focus peaking, I do have that on, I like focus peaking, it's a great feature. Focus point selected speed, it's on at norm, that's fine by me. I'm not doing fast-paced stuff all the time. ISO sensitivity on the third step, easy exposure compensation on, yeah, that's fine. Matrix meeting face detection on, so it's going to work out there's a face in it and work around that. Center weighted areas standard, but you can change it to average or small. Fine tune optimal, I'm not going to do that now, but yeah, you have to go and play with that and tune it in yourself. Shutter release button, so I've got that off at the moment for exposure lock because I want it as is. Self timer, yeah, as is. Power off delay, I change these so the playback's 20 seconds. So if I'm looking for the viewfinder, I just press the shutter button if I want it any different. When I'm playing back and looking at the photos, because I want to take the time to look around them and see. Menus, that's set to 5 minutes and it's set specifically really for this at the moment. I would have that lower, but obviously I'm recording, so hence why it's up there. Standby timer, 5 minutes. I don't like it to just go off. I'm working, I need to keep it on. CL mode shooting speed, so you can change the frames per second for the low. Maximum shots per burst. Pre-release capture options, see, oh, this is great. So before you actually start the burst, it's capturing frames, which I think is great. I don't know how that's going to cope with battery life, but hey ho. So yeah, have a little play with that. Sync release mode options, well, yeah, syncing between cameras or no sync. There's an option to sync all the cameras, really neat. Oh, shutter type, I've done this, left it as auto for the moment. We've got mechanical shutter or electronic. I let it sort itself out, so if it's going silent, it's going to go electronic. Otherwise, it's manual generally. Extended shutter speeds in manual, I'm not fussed about that. Limit selectable image area, leave as default, not fussed about those. File number sequence, yes, I want it to have a sequence. View mode, this is something I put into my shortcuts menu, and what that allows me to do is when I'm looking at a photo through the live view and it's really dark, I can get it to show me it really bright, so I can look at it and everything else and check my composition, check everything in the scenes really how I want it, and then take the photo and it will be as I've set the exposure, so it could be really, really dark. Great for that. One word of warning, if you're not used to that, you could be looking at the back of your screen taking photos going, yeah, they're all brilliant, but when you get them into post, you can't hardly see anything. So you need to be aware of that. It's got a purpose. Starlight view is just basically going to let you have really easy focusing system in low light. Warm display colors I've got off, but if you like them, have them on. View all in continuous mode. It's up to you. You can just watch everything as you go through. Release timer indicator type B, you got different ones. I just like the type B, what it said. Image frame, I like to see that. Grid type, 3x3, but you've got a whole load of options. I like the 3x3. Virtual horizon line, you've got different types of that. Again, I've chose the one I liked. Custom monitor shooting display. So I've turned a couple of these off because they're just of no interest to me. And we've got the viewfinder display as well, and I've turned one of those off because it's no interest to me. Sync speeds, 200 standard, happy with that, happy with that. all standard stuff for that, compensation, etc. Auto IR sensitivity control, subject and background rather than just subject. Yeah, I'm only really using it in a video, but actually you might want to set it to subject. Modeling flash on, so it just gives it a little bit of a light so it can see what you're doing or what it needs to do. Auto bracketing mode, don't use it, but that's how to set it up. Bracketing order, well, how it to expose under, over, and normal. Flash burst priority, and this is where you can customize your menus that I do customize. So as you can see, I've got different ones in there from probably what you've got, but these are the ones that I need to use on a day-by-day basis. So they're changed there. And I've got different ones at the front. Function button does my ISO, so that I can put it into C mode, and I can just change my ISO on the fly in manual mode. Really easy, because we have no separate ISO button on this, unlike a Z8 or Z9. And then playback, I've changed the function button at the front to be star rating, because I like that, and I have actually turned off somewhere that, which was protect, because it annoys me that my images get protected and I can't just delete them when I want to off my computer without unprotecting them. Touch function, enable, disable touch function, assign and touch area. That's for when you're focusing, you can do different things and you can just press the button on the screen to change it. Focus point lock, on or off, I've got it off at the moment. Reverse dial, not interested. Release button to use the dial. Reverse indicators, first ring for focus, yada yada. Focus ring rotation range and stuff isn't on there because I haven't got a lens that's taking care of that. I've got a 50mm on at the moment. Control ring response, power zoom, so you can actually use buttons on here. If you want to use the magnifying glass buttons on the back, you can zoom in and out with the PZ lenses. Full frame blade black flicks, so you can flick up and down and move stuff around. We're now on to customization, but this is for video. So again, I'll show you what I've customized the I button for into there. And these are things that I want to be able to access really, really quickly and simply. And that's it. Custom controls, again, we've got soft skin on the front. I've changed that to. Don't know if I'll ever use that, might change it to something else. But yeah, that's really the only thing I've changed onto there. Again, focus point lock. So we got the similar sort of things that we had in the photo one, so I'm not going to go through all of these. View assist I keep off on this. I really want to see in the video what I am shooting, because that's really, really important. Grid types, brightness information. So I've got histogram onto there, but you can have different ones depending what you're used to. I'm used to the histogram, but when I edit, I'll use that. We'll use a waveform, so it's entirely up to you what you choose. I just can see the histogram really quickly for highlights and shadows. Custom monitor shooting display. Again, I've turned one of those off because they're of no use to me. And I've left both of those on. Yes, this is a great thing that was brought into the ZFC, which was the red frame around the record. Love that. And there we go. That's that menu. Playback menu. I'm not going to go through every option. I'm just going to scroll down so you can see. Because it just is. I don't tend to use this really. I've got auto rotate images on. That's probably the only thing onto that. You might want to turn it off. Simple as that. In terms of setup menu, we've got format card, language, time zone, monitor brightness, monitor color balance, viewfinder brightness, color balance, finder display zone standard. This is for photos and I prefer it standard. Limit monitor mode selection. Well, it's not available in the current mode. Auto rotate info display. Yes, I like that because if I'm working in portrait, it just makes it easy to see. Fine-tuning options for autofocus. Haven't played with that yet. Don't know if I need to, but if I calibrate any lenses, that's where I'm going to go and do it. Non-CPU's lens data. I haven't put any on here at the moment, so I've got nothing to set up and test, but that's where I'll go in and fine tune stuff if I need to for each of the F lenses or something like that, for instance. Save focus position, yes, I love that. Save zoom position, PZ lenses, yes. Auto temperature cutout is standard, but you could set it to high if it's bugging you and it's trying to cut you out. Clean image sensor, you can do that, and I think there is, oh, that's in pixel mapping, so yeah, clean image sensor, it'll just shake the dust off. And you can do a dust photo reference as well. Photo, and if you do it with the NX Studio, I believe it's got some options into that. Never played with it, got to be honest. Pixel mapping, something I am going to look at and have a play with, but I need an NX Studio setup for that, and I haven't got around to that yet. Image comment, if you're doing a set of images for a client, you might want to put their name in there. Copyright information, this automatically puts copyright into your photos. I do that. And we've got IPTC where you can edit and embed certain things during shooting and create your own stuff. I've not played with that. Voice memo options, because you can add voice memos to each photo in Playback when you're looking at them. Might be nice, might be not. Camera sounds, I have off. Silent mode, that's for silent shooting, but you can do that in the menus the way I've set it up. Touch controls, I've got on. Self-portrait mode, yes. Don't know if I want that or not, but it's there. HDMI is in there. So we've got various options, output, etc. into there. USB connectivity priority, uploading or shooting. Conformity marking, because battery info, quite useful, tells you how old the battery is, number of charge, how much is left, number of shots done. I think I've done 79 shots with this. Wow. USB power delivery, yes, because I've got to charge the damn thing because we didn't get a charger. Energy saving photo mode off because I don't like that. Yes to lock if I've not put a memory card in or it hasn't registered. I do not want to shoot. And save and load settings, and that'll save it to your memory card and then reset. Firmware version, and we're on 1.1. And then we've got network menu. It's on airplane mode at the moment because I don't like to drain the battery, but you can connect it to your smart device. We've got remote options for wireless remotes. We've got connecting to computers. We've got FTP server, which is cracking. I love that option. Connect to other cameras, so you can have up to 10 cameras all connected and automatically synced to trigger at the same time, which is brilliant. I'm not buying another 9 though. Atmos, autonomous, air glue, Bluetooth options, not used it, don't know. USB, and that's how it's going to do. If you've got an iPhone, obviously operates differently. Router frequency for when it sets up Wi-Fi onto this thing, and I've got it on both. And then the MAC address of this, and that's it. My menu, I've just added a few extra bits here, so I've got easy access. So the auto ISO for video, focus shifting menu, time-lapse menu, pixel shift menu, airplane mode, and that's it. That was a really, really quick walkthrough of every blooming option that's in this camera. So have a look. If there's any questions on some of those, put them down below and we'll try and answer them. I will obviously do videos on certain things like pixel shifting and the skin softening and everything else. I'm going to do some extra little videos onto that because they deserve it. Other bits are fairly standard for Nikon stuff, I've got to be honest. A few niceties in there which I've hopefully covered and you've seen. I've explained some of the way that I've used some of those as well, especially the ISO front button. That's really, really useful for me because I need to be able to change that ISO really quickly when I'm shooting. I'm so used to it with the Z8 that, on the D850 as well, that not having that is going to be a real pain in the backside. Hope you like that. That's it. It's just a menu walkthrough. Like and subscribe, really appreciate it. Look forward to seeing you on the next one.